costs for my second book launch are much higher than they are for my first book launch, but I've already exceeded my book sale numbers. Hello writers in training, I'm Shanon, writing under the pen name SC Huston and author of Blood of the Lily and Soul of a Rose. Welcome to my channel where I show writers like you how to develop your writing skills and self-publish your work. Alright, let's start with what I spent to produce my second book, Soul of a Rose. And then we'll look at the marketing costs and sales during my 5-day book launch from January 3rd to the 7th. I made my own cover and did all my own formatting for the ebook and the paperback, so that costs me nothing but my time. However, I had hired 2 people from Fiverr to do my book blurb. One started out costing me $17.38, but she kept extending the order due date. After 3 times of requesting an extension, Fiverr seemed to glitch with the order, and when the seller finally submitted the blurb, there was no way for me to accept it or to request revisions. Fiverr just didn't offer the normal buttons for the next step. I could see the blurb though, and by the time I saw it, I had already received the blurb from my second seller. In comparison, that first seller's blurb was awful. That first order was finally resolved through a cancellation, which credited the money back to my Fiverr account. So I didn't end up paying for the blurb I didn't use. The second seller cost me $23.10, which included the service at $20 plus Fiverr's service fee of $3.10. I also left a tip plus a new service fee on the tip, bringing the total to $30.38. Next, I paid for 3 beta readers, one of which was the same one beta reader I had hired for my first book. Altogether, the cost for services and fees, plus tips and additional fees, came to $158.67. I also hired 2 developmental editors from Fiverr to look at just the pacing of the novel. Total cost for those with all services, tips, and fees came to $289.91. I want to note that good developmental editors usually cost a lot more than what I paid. If I had hired an established and notable developmental editor for the full length of my novel who would look at more than just the pacing, I would probably paid anywhere from $800 to $1,500 or more for one editor. My next cost was my editor who completed copy editing and proofreading on my first novel. Her work on my second novel cost $769.74. This cost quite a bit more than my first novel because the word count for Blood of the Lily comes in just at under 80,000 words and Soul of a Rose is 96,000 words. My last cost was purchasing a proof copy from Amazon. This came to $8.04. My total production costs for my second book come to $1,256.74. Now let's look at marketing costs. I want to point out that all of my marketing was done on the first book in this series and not this novel that was just published, because the advice is to always promote the first in the series with the hope that some readers will buy the rest of the available series. One of my book promotions allowed me to add on additional books for $3, so that was the only one that I specifically targeted on this book. I did schedule 9 paid promotions for the 5-day launch. I also had 7 free promos too, which I'll talk about in the next video linked here, where I'll break down all the paid and free promotions I used for my second book launch. However, since all the paid marketing was done on Blood of the Lily, I will tack on those marketing costs onto her book when I do my monthly income report. For now, the only money I spent marketing Soul of a Rose was $3. Before moving on to how much my second book made during that 5-day launch, if you're finding this content valuable, please work out that like button. To see how much my book made, I will look at my KDP dashboard and use Amazon's beta product for authors, the new KDP reports to see the total number of KENP or Kindle pages read, and the estimated royalties. After choosing all of the appropriate markers in the drop-down categories on my KDP dashboard, I chose all of January and not just my promotion dates for 2 reasons. 1, paperbacks can be purchased, let's say, on the first day of my promotion, but not ship and forecast royalties until after my promotion is over. And 2, although my promotion ended at midnight on January 7th, it still wasn't midnight in other countries, and the sale continued on through the next day as far as my sales are concerned. So to gather a full picture, I need all of the data for January. Next, I scroll down and click Generate Report. On the report under ebook royalty, you can see that I had sales on January 8th, the day after the last day of my promotion. You know these were part of the promotion by scrolling across the data. See, here are sales for Soul of a Rose on the 8th, with all the average list price at 99 cents, my promotion amount. Next, I'll click over to the paperback royalty tab to ensure all the sales were within my promotional period. The last thing I'll do is click over to the KENP tab and clean that up to give me only the numbers for my promotional period. I'll have to hop over to the KDP reports to see my estimated royalties for my KENP, as that is the only thing this report doesn't give. By the way, I considered only using the KDP reports for my reporting this time, but as I was going through the numbers, I knew they were wrong. For one thing, while it shows the total number of units sold, it doesn't break it down by how much it costs for each unit. So if I was only using the KDP reports, I wouldn't have known I had more sales on the day after my promotion ended in my time zone. There were other issues beyond that, but then I realized that the KDP reports is still in the beta stage, so it won't be perfect. Now let's see what the numbers say. I'll sum up the appropriate columns as I go, so I know my order numbers and royalties for my ebooks and paperbacks. On the ebook royalty tab, it says I sold 80 ebooks for a total of $28.01. Under the paperback royalty tab, it says I sold 3 paperbacks and made $8.79 in royalties. That's amazing! 83 copies of Soul of a Rose sold on Amazon in 5 days. I sold a total of 77 copies of Blood of the Lily on Amazon in the first month, and here I've already exceeded that number for my second book. Okay, done with that freak out. Let's take a look at the KENP Read tab to see the total number of Kindle pages read. Only 10 pages. Let's double check that with the KDP report site and find the estimated royalties, which won't be much on 10 pages. In KDP reports, I click on KENP Read on the left side of the screen and choose the appropriate markers in the drop-down categories, like the time period of 3 to 7 January and Soul of a Rose. It also shows 10 Kindle pages read. Okay, let's go over to the royalties estimator to see total earnings for the KENP. Again, I choose all the appropriate markers in the drop-down categories. Scroll down. Here you can see the breakdown of my ebook and KENP royalties, and you'll notice that the ebook royalties don't match the KDP dashboard, and again, that's because it's only looking at my promotional period in my time zone, discounting the sales that happens later for me in other time zones. However, I can see the KENP royalties are 5 cents for my 10-page reads. If I add all of my royalties together, I have a total earnings of $36.85. Not bad. This is way more than I expected to make, with the book being on sale for 99 cents. And the series not complete yet, so I'm happy with these figures. I haven't had any physical book sales this time, as I don't have my author copies yet. They were supposed to come between January 3rd and the 4th, but it got pushed back to the 14th now for whatever reason. Not something Amazon explains. Now that we know all of these figures, what's my damage during this book launch? With making $36.85, if I deduct production costs of $1,256.74 and marketing costs of $3, I'm $1,222.89 in the negative. I'm not mad at this figure though, because you know what? 1, this is a long-term investment. And 2, I also had thousands of downloads of my first book in the same 5-day period. Next week, I'll talk about exactly what I did for my marketing strategies and costs during this launch to get those thousands of downloads and my 83 sales of Soul of a Rose. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and happy writing.